Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Daily Market Report brought to you by Mike Bjork. Today is Thursday, August 27th, almost end of the month here. Hey, we got a couple economic news releases scheduled for today, and actually there's some pretty big ones here. We'll start off with the weekly jobless claims. So last week we had 277,000 people apply for unemployment. It was supposed to dip down to 270, and it did dip down to 271, so pretty much in line with expectations. And one of the best numbers here is the GDP for the second quarter. So the initial, remember we have three revisions here. The first initial one came in at 2.3%. The forecast was supposed to jump up 1% to 3.3 and actually exceed that 3.7%. So of course you're going to see this. The markets are rallying behind this. My caution is, of course, these are revisions. They do change. The final one will be out next month, but also keep in mind that we had a pretty poor second quarter or first quarter, so because of the weather and stuff. So not to get overly excited about this number here, because we had the same thing last year and it disappointed at the end. So not to put water onto the fire or anything, but to just be cautious and want to see more data here. We also had pending home sales improvement there. So back in June we had a negative. It pulled back 1.8%, and in July it increased 0.5%. So nice numbers right there. Overall, great data here we got today. So very pleasing to see here. So of course, stock market's going to be up today. They're really liking it. So it's up between 200 and 300. Dow's up between 200 and 300 so far today. So after a big rally yesterday, it closed up like 614, I believe it was. Also, there's some comments over the last 2 days by some Fed members. Dudley out of New York, who's actually a pretty important one. He's like the number 2 behind Janet Yellen. Basically said that he would pull back and not maybe raise rates in September. So that's somebody you definitely want to listen to. And so September may be out the table in terms of rate hikes. Esther George out of Kansas City is in favor of raising it, but I would weigh more in tune with Dudley, because his views tend to be closer to what we see with the Fed chairwoman Janet Yellen. So she would, of course, make the final decision if whether to raise rates or not. The big concern is and they're going to be meeting this weekend in Jackson Hole. The Fed members will be meeting over there. But the topic of conversation is inflation. As we can see, inflation is extremely low, which is a concern out there, especially with the global issues going on, especially with China, emerging markets. They're dropping the yuan, and other currencies are going to be doing the same thing to manipulate the exports. That drops commodity prices, and in turn that could actually lower our inflation. So instead of inflation going up, which we like to keep it at 2% level, the core inflation is currently at 1.3, and we could see that go the opposite direction, which is a concern, especially if they decide to tighten rates. And by tightening rates, it would only strengthen the dollar and make it more difficult for us to export any goods or services. So it makes it a lot more difficult for us, and it could slow our economy down and kind of shoot ourselves in the foot by doing so. Let's take a look here at the bond market. We're still we're down about 3 basis points today. Nothing in terms of change for interest rates today from where we left off yesterday. We are still above the 25-day moving average, as you can see with that green line. We have touched it over the past couple weeks, and it has been a strong support for us. So right now, today has been, I mean, this last day or two hasn't been any exception. We have bounced off of it and stayed above it. So that's an important line to stay above in terms of possible jumping up for better rates here. Okay, folks, so rates are about the same where we left off yesterday, off obviously from our highs on Monday, but overall looking good. All right, folks, you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.